Ladies, this is our time. You may have been seeing it out in the world, social media, the women rising, women saying we've had enough, women realizing that the roles and the systems that they have been living in, that we've been living in, have not equaled that beautiful happiness we thought it was going to, that somehow we would feel fully fulfilled if we played those roles that society expected of us, that the patriarchy has fed to us. And now in the world is the time that I believe the feminine is rising. And what does that look like for each of us? It might be a little different. But the number one thing we must do is to say, first, us. This is a call to decenter men. This is a call to learn how to love and regulate yourself and ourselves first. This is a call to take back your power. You've spent years and years giving, fawning, picking up all the kids, doing the homework, helping the kids with the homework, making the meals, building a side hustle. Maybe you have a full-time job. Showing up emotionally, physically for your husband or your boyfriend. All to what end? You're exhausted. Because the men and systems surrounding you have failed you. They've failed us. How have they failed us? Men have forgotten love. They've forgotten their hearts. And the feminine and masculine attributes have been out of balance for many, many, many years. And we are slowly changing that. And now in these years, I think we're starting to rapidly see a sharp incline up. And that's because, number one, we of course have more rights. Number two, women are realizing that their grandmas and their moms' lives didn't equal success just because they gave and gave and gave to a relationship and stayed because it was harder to leave. They didn't have the financial means or the support or feel they were capable of leaving the marriages that were failing them and making them unhappy. Why? Because again, the power imbalance. Women were expected to do everything, keep everyone happy, keep the husband happy. To what end? What about her happiness? What about our passions? What do we want out of life? These are questions we have to ask ourselves. And those of us now in our 40s, maybe some of us have children that have, started to become adults. And then you realize that you spent all this time on caring for everyone else only to be burnt out. You love your children. You might love your husband. You may love the family around. But that doesn't take away the fact that you feel lost. You don't know who you are. You've overgave. Your health is a wreck. You don't feel good about yourself. You don't take care of yourself. You don't work out. You don't eat right. Why? Because everyone's come before you. And that is the lie that has been sold to women over and over and over again. Instead of two people who come together in a relationship, two people that come together in a marriage, and looking at it as a partnership, looking at how we can give ourselves in love when our cup is first filled. And the lie that's been sold, and the men out there saying, I just want peace. Peace is something you create. And something men need to understand about feminine, the feminine. When we feel safe, when we feel loved and cherished and adored, when we feel our emotions have a safety net and a space they can be held in without defensiveness, without reaction. We feel held. And in that holding, we respond in peace. That is something the feminine, when we come into balance, naturally creates. The problem is that men have been told to shut down their emotions. I mean, how many sayings can we think of? Don't be a pussy. Stop crying. Don't be weak. When in fact, young boys coming into this world through the mother are just as emotional as females are. And men need to cultivate that with other men now in this juncture. Because we women have been asking. We've been asking for you to show up. We've been asking for you to be raw and honest. And we understand that deep inside is a vulnerability that your heart was broken in order to create protective mechanisms so that vulnerability would no longer be available, so that you couldn't be hurt anymore. And I feel so deeply sorry for what boys go through in family systems that have shut down their emotions, shut down your heart, shut down all the best parts of what being alive is all about. And if your heart is shut down, you will never be able to bring or create true happiness with an embodied feminine. So ladies, we need to understand this about men. But let's talk about our work. What is our work? If we are in those fawning, people-pleasing, over-giving, lost ourselves stages in our life, what do we need to do to reclaim our power and reclaim our self-love? These are questions you need to start asking yourself. How do I show up for myself? Because I know that showing up for everyone else doesn't lead to happiness. If anything, it also shows everyone else that they can't be interdependent, that they have to depend on mom, and that creates an imbalance and codependency in their own subconscious, and that plays out in their conscious reality. So what we need to do is we need to take back our power and understand what we need to feel fulfilled. And for so many women I've worked with in the past, including myself, when we are so busy putting everyone first and we lose sight of all that, we have no idea where to begin. That's really common. I even hear from women who say, I'm still trying to figure out who I even am. Who are you? There is no moment in life that you can't spend rediscovering or discovering for the first time or reimagining who you are and what you want and things you want to create and passions that you might reignite from maybe when you were a child. Finding those places again within yourself and recreating those. And if the people around you in your life don't support this, well, those are next questions you'll have to ask yourself. But right now, as the feminine rises, we say no more to overgiving, overburdening, to our detriment. We say, come at us equal. And if you can't, well, then you don't need to be in our lives. And give the masculine space to rise and meet you. And I think that is the most crucial aspect to this all, is that we don't do it in force. We don't say to that person, we might bring information to them, but we cannot control another, right? So the most important aspect is creating and embodying your own full cup, creating and embodying the life you want to live. And it can be, of course, if you have children in your lives and all, figuring out a balance in that, but allowing yourself to come back into what you want and love and want to experience in your life. And allowing those who are triggered by this, those who are not used to that, to figure out, heal. Maybe they go to therapy. Maybe they join a men's group. Maybe they go to their pastor. Not that I'd recommend that though, because most pastors unfortunately don't have training of any kind. I don't want to say all, but I would say go to somebody who's specializes in this, because men holding other men accountable and men holding other men's emotions, raw feelings, are what's the work that they need to do. But they will never rise if we force them to. And they won't rise unless we hold the bar here to meet us. And some of that might mean some of us women might be single. Some of us might not be in relationships. And we're seeing that out there. And we're not afraid of any man that is going to call us cat ladies, which I don't have a cat. I love dogs. I have a dog. But that term is just a projection because they don't like that there are women who don't need them. And it cuts to the core of what a man has been sold, the lie they've been sold, that their value is based on what they can provide. But men, their value, men, if any of you are listening to this, your value is not on what you provide. It's who you are. And it's the love you can give, that we can feel, that will do more wonders than anything you ever provide. Because when that's in balance, you will naturally feel safety and provision for the feminine in your life will come naturally. And ladies, when we are in our embodied state, that does not mean we are only soft. Sometimes that means we roar. It means we let love and our intuition be our strength and allow that to lead our way. That we are the center of our own lives, as men are, most men on this planet are in their lives. We will meet in balance when we can all rise and be in love first. Hope this meets you, and see you in the next one. Take care.